we're back for more math. Yes, you guys said it was your favorite, and you're showing me how smart you are, and I think it kind of is. So I'm excited to teach you our new concept for today, and I want you to think carefully. There are some numbers that are just part of something, not the whole thing. And so when we think of numbers that are part of something and not the whole, we think of numbers that are called fractions, because fractions are part of a whole. Now, in our world, there are times where we might have to break things into fractions. Say, okay, here's an example. I went to a bakery this summer, a delicious bakery in Mystic, Connecticut. It's very, very popular. Actually, Isabella Placeris's mom told me about it, and that's why I had to go there. But this bakery had amazing cakes and breads and cookies, but the cookies are about this big. They're so big. Now, if your mom bought one of those cookies from that bakery for you, you know she's not going to want you to eat all that cookie and all that sugar. Not good for you. So she's going to say, you must share some with your brother. If she says you need to share some with your brother, what are you going to do? How do you share it with your brother? First, some of you, I hear you saying you're not. I don't have a brother. I don't have to share it. Oh, I'm not going to share it. I'm going to shove it all in my mouth. No. We just talked about obedience in Bible, remember? So you will share because your mom told you to. Okay. Even if you don't have a brother or a sister, you will still only eat half, and you can share it with your mom or dad. Okay. Anyway, you would cut it in half, right? You would cut that cookie into 2 equal pieces so that you could have half and your brother could have half. So we would take the whole and cut it in half, right? Well, what about if I had to share something equally with 4 people? So me and 3 other people, this isn't going to work. I can't share half if I have 4 people that I need to share it with. This is not going to work. So I would have to cut it into smaller parts so that there are now 4 equal pieces. I would cut it into fourths, okay? So everybody could get 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. But all 4 of these fourths are going to make up what? The whole thing, right? It's still the whole cookie, but I'm just dividing it into pieces, into parts of that whole. So when I have 4 equal pieces, we say it's 1/4. Another way of saying 1/4 is saying a quarter, 1/4, okay? Now I know when you guys think of a quarter, you think of 25 cents, but we're thinking of a quarter as something different. We're thinking of it like a quarter of a piece of pie, okay? 1/4 of something. So when you are thinking of 1/4 as a fraction, or on our clock, which we're going to talk about in a minute, don't think of money. 1/4 in money is 25 cents, but 1/4 of something is going to equal a little bit different. So 1/4 of our clock is actually going to be 15 minutes. And I'll explain and show you how and why in just a second. So let's look at our clock. We know that if we have this time on our clock, what time is it? Because we've learned our small hand speaks first. The small hand, he counts all the way to 12. Not smart. He should be able to count higher by now. But he counts at least to 12. That's very good. He's so smart. He speaks first because he's little. He gets to speak first. And then our way smarter. Big hand, our long minute hand, he counts by 5s all the way until he gets to the 12, and he doesn't say 8:60. He says o'clock. So the small hand says 8. And the big hand says o'clock, okay? So it's 8 o'clock, right? Well, what if I let my thing drop like it normally wants to drop? It's gonna go all the way down to the 6. Well, if I look at that 6 and I think about what I just did with my cookies, remember how I cut my cookie? Wait a minute. From the 12 to the 6, is that half of my clock? What time is this now? It's still 8, right? But now it's 8 what? 8:30. Yes, it is 8:30. And if I look, it is halfway of my clock. So the other way that I could say this is it is half past 8, because it went from here halfway around. And then if it goes the other half, then it becomes 9. So this is half an hour later, so that's why we call it half past 8. Does that make sense? Now, the other thing we talked about was quarters, okay? When we cut our plate into 4 pieces, we said they're called quarters. And the reason why I need you to think not money is because on our clock, our quarters are going to be going across. So our halfway mark goes down and our quarters go across. So here's my clock, right? So if you have paper plates at home, if you don't, it's okay, but if you do have paper plates at home, ask mom or dad first. But I want you to take one, and what I want you to do is I want you to write 12 at the top, write, and try to make a straight line as much as you can, write 6 on the bottom. Then going across, because you know we could go down and then across, right? So we could draw like a cross. You're gonna do 3 on the one side and 9 on the opposite side. And then you can fill in 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 11 in between those numbers. But go down first, 12, 6, and then across 3, 9. That's going to help you see what I'm talking about, okay? So if you have a paper plate, that's what I want you to do. If you don't have a paper plate, we'll do it in school. So don't worry, you'll see it again because we're going to be working on that. So I did it a couple of different ways. So I did it first here with just the 12 and the 6. And you can see if I did what I did the first time and cut it in half, my 12 and my 6 are halfway. So that's why when I get to the 6, we say it's half past. So half past whatever the small hand is saying, whether it's half past 8 or half past 10, half past 12, half past 1, wherever that small hand is, when my big hand is on the 30, it's half past. So if it's here, what is this going to be? It's near my 11. It's not on 12 yet, so it is 11:30 or half past 11, right? What about here? We'll do it even more this way because that's more realistic. But what about here? Half past 6. Oh my goodness, you guys are so smart. I love this. You're making me so happy. So half past 6 is when it is on 6:30, when it's on the 30 because it's half past. Now think about that. Our number up here is 60. The number down here is 30. What is half of 60? Just like half of 6. 3, right? So that's why we would say half past. But now we're also going to think about here to here, where I had my 12 and then part of my 3. This is only one part of my clock. Oh, that's that quarter that you were talking about, Miss Monroe. Yes, this is the quarter that I was talking about. So not with money, with time, quarter goes to what number? It goes to my 3. What is that when I'm counting by 5s? 5, 10, it's 15. So when it is 15 after, so if we go back to our 8 o'clock like we had before, we go to our 8 o'clock. If I go just right here, I haven't gone all the way down to my half yet, I'm only a quarter of the way down, then this is quarter, and it comes after my 8 o'clock, because this was 8 o'clock, and this came after 8. So this is quarter after 8 when it's on 8:15, okay? So this from 12 to the 3 is after, quarter after. Then what did we already say this one was? Half past, right? So we have quarter after and half past. Now we have the other side that is going back up to that 12. So you can see I have part of my 9 written down there, and I have the 1 part of my 12. So when it goes from here, the 9, to the 12, this right here from 9 up to the 12 is called quarter till. So we're going to start with our 8 again, okay, so we can put it all together. We have 8 o'clock, then we come here, this is quarter after 8, it comes down here, this is 8:30, then it comes all the way here, this is quarter till. But is it quarter till 8? No, because it's already gone almost all the way. 8:05, 8:10, 8:15, 8:20, 8:25, 8:30, 8:35, 8:40, 8:45. So it is almost what time? It's almost 9 o'clock. So we would say quarter till 9. So on our clock, we have our o'clock, and then we go halfway down, and that's half past. But then we have our quarters, if we draw like into 4 parts, and our quarters are 3 and 9. This quarter comes after 12, so it's quarter after my number, whatever time it is. This is going towards 12, so this is quarter to the number, whatever the next hour is going to be. Now, to make it even easier or maybe more realistic for you, let's look at this time here. So we're in school, and it gets to be 2 o'clock, and you're like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, thankfully we only have an hour left, and then I can go home and play video games after I do my homework, of course. So it's 2, and the next time you remember to look at the clock, it's after 2. It's quarter after. 2:15 is quarter after 2. And you're like, okay, I'm getting closer to getting ready to go home. Then you look at the clock again, and it's, oh, that went really fast. 15 minutes goes by quick. Now it is half past 2. That means I only have half an hour until I get to go home. This is getting exciting. So now you're working. 15 more minutes goes by. Oh man, it's on the 9. That means it's quarter till. Quarter till 2? No, not quarter till 2, Miss Monroe. Do you see why it's so important to know? Because I can't, if it's after 2, we already did 2:15. We already did 2:30. Now it's 2:45. It's quarter till the next hour. We're done. School's out. I'm free. So it's quarter till 3. It was 2:30 or 2:30. It was quarter after 2. But once we get to the 9, it is almost going to be 3. So we would say quarter to 3. Quarter till 3. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope that you understand that, because I know it can be a little tricky, especially when we think a quarter is 25 cents. We don't think of it as 15. But if we take our clock like we've had, we know that this is 60, we know that this is 30. Well, guess what half of 30 is? It's 15, okay? So this is half of 30, which is 15, and then 15 more is where we get half past. 15 more is where we get to quarter till, and then we're finally back at o'clock, okay? So I hope that really makes sense to you, so that you'll see it comes down half past and across as our quarters, okay? Quarter after, quarter till. Now, if you've got your paper plate that you made at home, I want you to draw your line going down and your line going across, down from 12 to 6 and across from 3 to 9. On this little section here, so if you do what I'm asking you and you draw it across, you draw it down. It's hard to see on here, so forgive me if it's not straight. And you draw across, okay? In this section, I want you to write quarter after, okay? Then here, you're gonna write, or even between both of these two, you're gonna write it's half past, because when it's on the 6, it's half past. Then on this side, you're going to write quarter to, or quarter till, because this is quarter till. So this is quarter after, because it's going down. This is quarter till, because it's getting ready to be the next hour, okay? So that's what I'd like for you to do, so that you can recognize that a little bit easier as you're telling your time. Okay, that took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but I really, really, really wanted you to get that down, because that was a struggle in the past, and I'm hoping that you'll understand it very clearly. But one more thing that I want to show you before I let you go for math time. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer, and we're going to look at our subtraction. We've done subtraction already this year, so it's not like it's anything new, but one of the things that I did mention really quickly yesterday, but I really want to encourage you to look at today, is to check the top. Whenever we are subtracting, you need to check the top. We need to check the top. Say it with me. Check the top. Again, check the top. One more time. Check the top. 2 more times. Check the top. Again, check the top. Always check the top, because I need to see that the person on top is bigger, older, stronger than the person on the bottom, because then I can go ahead and subtract. But if the top is smaller, that's not going to work. I will not be able to subtract. So the very first thing for subtraction is to check the top. What is it? Check the top. Always check the top. Remember to check the top. Don't forget, check the top. As many times as we've said it, you better not forget it, okay? Check the top. So we check the top and we look. We have 6 and then 7 on the bottom. Oh, 6 years old, you're 6 years old first, or you're 6 years old and then you're older than when you're 7, right? So 6 years old is more than 7. Wait, no, it's not. 6 is younger, that's smaller. We cannot subtract this. We have to cross out that 6 because it's too small. Put the same number up top. Just put that 6 there to kind of hold the place so we don't forget that there was a 6 here. But if we only have 6, so what I like to pretend is that this is Mr. 1. Mr. 1 is having a party. He's got 7 friends over his house, but he has 6 pieces of pizza. That's it. 6 pizzas, but he needs 7. He doesn't have enough. So what is he going to have to do? He's going to have to find more pizza from somewhere. Where is he going to have to find it from? He's got to go next door to his neighbor. There's no other place to go. His house is just there, and the only place he can go is to his neighbor's house. And he's going to have to ask his neighbor, Mr. 10, can I borrow please from you? I need a pizza because I have 7 friends and I only have 6 pizzas. And he goes, knocks on Mr. 10's door. Mr. 10, Mr. 10, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I really need your help. I have 7 friends over my house, but I only have 6 pizzas. Can you help me? Mr. 10's a little grumpy sometimes because he's tired of Mr. 1 coming over and borrowing from him all the time. But he says, fine, I have 1 friend, but I have 3 pizzas. You're lucky this time. I can let you borrow 1 of my pizzas. And so Mr. 10 gives 1 of his 10s, 1 of his groups of 10, away. So instead of having 3 10s, now he only has 2 10s, and he has to give 1 of those 10s to Mr. 1. Now, Mr. 10 has 1 10 and 6 1s. He's so much better to go because now he's got 16 pizzas with 7 friends. So he's going to have some left over. But Mr. 10 still has some left over too. So 16 minus 7 equals, you guys are so quick. It's 9. Very good. And then 2 minus 1. It's 1. So 2 10s minus 1 10 equals 1 10. 16 1s minus 7 1s equals 9 1s, and our answer would be 19. So whenever you are doing your subtraction, remember to check the top. What is it? Check the top. Always check the top. And if the top is too small, go next door. Don't make Mr. 10 angry, but politely go next door and ask him, can I please borrow? Oh, okay, please. Okay, thank you for letting me borrow so that I can make sure that Mr. 1 has enough. All right? That's what we are doing. So prepare to do well on those, and I will be checking to see that we've got that down, but I hope that that makes sense with your clocks and with your subtraction with borrowing, and work on pages 11 and 12, I believe, right? Yes, pages 11 and 12. Work on those very carefully, think that through, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.